Yo, what's up, you beautiful people? It's Koga here again, this time with another build showcase and information on my new project. Now, if you guys probably see in the title, it is a Trickster CI Ice Shot character. Now, usually, traditionally, Ice Shot characters are Deadeyes and, rangers, and have low life, they die easily. The damage is kind of because Ice Shot is kind of, I don't understand why Ice Shot is bad damage. The base damage is good. The effective added damage on the gem itself is good. But besides that, I've made my own version of it, and it's performing quite well for the budget that it is. And I'm very glad to show you guys and explain why I chose Trickster instead of going Deadeye. And it'll probably make sense for you guys. And then maybe you consider it, because in my opinion, it's probably the best way to play a Ice Shot character. And with enough investment, you can absolutely destroy the game. Because the only thing I invested was a few key items. There were like a few exalts, but everything else is absolutely budget as hell. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna show you guys a quick Minotaur map. For you guys to see how it performs. The clear is absolutely amazing. Single target is a little bit lacking for what I usually want, but it still kills them pretty quickly, especially like Cyrus, and the Conquerors were easily to kill. You see it in the build guide coming up later on this week. But in terms of, it doesn't stack up against the crazy stuff. But if you guys, like let's say if you're fast as fuck and you have an insane amount of currency, you put in a good bow, because if you see, you're going to see the bow that I'm using, you'll laugh your ass off and you'll just destroy the entire game because it's that easy. So you guys can use my template and continue on from there. But with that, I'll show you a Minotaur map. But before we get into that, I do stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This last stream, I literally streamed for 18 hours straight just to kick the character out already this weekend, so we can work on the next project already. But with that, guys, the link is down below if you guys want to watch me play the characters. I'm making new projects every week. I'm finally learning how to make money in the game. In Harvest. Yesterday, I've made like over 15 exalts, I think, or 10, 15 exalts. I'm banking now. So new builds are coming up pretty quickly, guys. So hope you guys are ready for that, because once I got money, ball just goes rolling, boy. On top of that, I do have a Discord down below if you guys want to join. Community's been growing a lot, and you guys have all the questions you want to ask. I'll gladly answer them in Discord when I have time, because I like to answer on my phone a lot, and I'm very active. But with that, let's get into the map, and I hope you guys enjoy what you see. I'll catch you guys there.
One of my captors felt no emotion, not hesitate to inflict pain.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
Welcome back, guys, into the informative section. So this is where I'm gonna show you why I chose Trickster. Now, usually when you look at a Deadeye, it seems like the most obvious choice when you pick a a eye shot character, simply because when you build an eye shot character, you want to build into barrage, into the additional arrows, and of course you want to use the item Void Fletcher. Now, Void Fletcher is cool because it gives you these little void shots right here, these little void arrows. And what happens is every time that you shoot an arrow, it shoots these little blue things, or I guess little additional arrows that explode. And they work extremely well with additional arrows, simply put, because even though it's 5 shots, if you have additional arrows, each of those 5 shots, each shot, I guess, out of the 5 can shoot its own additional arrow. So let's say, for like sake, we have a dying sun. That's 3 arrows, right? 1 base plus 2 is 3 arrows. So that means that when you shoot out 5, let's say with barrage, you're actually shooting out 15 because it's 5 times 3. So per void shot has its own, includes its additional arrows, if that makes sense, right? So if I shoot once here, it goes down to like 4, went back up instantly. It shot 3 arrows because that's how many arrows I have with a Death's Opus. You add then a dying sun, and now we have 5 arrows, but it only took 1 charge, if that makes sense for you guys. So you want to stack as much as, additional arrows as possible. Of course, if you get a Void Fletcher with additional arrow, it is mad money and a very good damage bonus, but of course it costs like 30 exalts. I'm not gonna buy that. So usually people go Deadeye, simply because, and this munition gives you that AoE, which is nice for eye shot, and you get an additional projectile. On top of that, you go zoom zoom with tailwinds over here, and the rest of it is not that important. I guess ricochet does help you, but it does mess up your ensnare a bit. But either way, it's good, right? So you usually go Deadeye. Now my thing with Deadeye is that you're on the right side of the tree, and life nodes are very tough, especially when there's so much damage. Like, look, this guys, this is my CI built tree, right? I'm gonna put total DPS, show no power. There is just too much damage, dude. Like, all the red nodes are just damage. Damage there. There's damage here. There's this little node here, damage. If you get a lionized fall, there's damage here in the claw nodes, right? You can go up here, get all this damage. There's a crit nodes there. On the left is damage. And yet the life and the ES is very fickle, I guess you can say, where you really have to determine how much damage and life that you want. So this version is a little bit more balanced around surviving. And I named the character Chili Squishy because I thought he was going to be squishy. And it turned out completely opposite. And I've actually made quite a balanced character at the end of the day. Considering everything, how defensive he is. Like, he's level 93 and I've been playing this character, I don't know for how long now, but for sure, like, I mean, it's been like 3-6 days. I'm playing 5 days now in terms of playtime. But I only play like when I stream. So it's really like 6 to 8 hour days only on the weekends. And to get to level 93 on a squishy build that I've only played for a little bit means that he's not died that often, and it's clear is insane. So yeah, we know that we want Deadeye because of the additional arrow, but I went with Trickster simply put because the armor that you want as a Deadeye is Hyri's Ire, and the reason, like, Maffle made a build with Galvanic Arrow using Voice Fletcher, and he wanted to use Hyri's Ire, and people were asking why didn't he use Hyri's Ire? I think it was last league. And the point was they had no life. The build already has low life, guys. Like, most Ranger builds already 4.5k life. You slap in a Hyri's Ire, now you have 4.2k life. Good luck with that. So I wanted to find a balance of good life and defense. I mean, good damage and defense. And Trickster was the point. Because let me show you real quick. Trickster has this node right here called Ghost Dance, where not Ghost Dance, excuse me, Escape Artist right here, where it gives you 1% plus 1 maximum energy shield per 6 evasion on your body armor, right? And 5% 5 evasion per 1% per 1 maximum energy shield on your helmet. So our helmet now is 308 ES, and according to this, we get 5 energy shield times 5. That's literally 1,500 evasion from our helmet, if I did my math correctly. Yes, 5 evasion. And then our chest piece gives us 2,818, right? And it gives us 1 ES per 6 evasions. You divide it by 6, and that's 470 basically, if you round up, energy shield from our chest piece, meaning that the main downside of Hyri's Ire, which is no life, is now an upside, because now we get the damage, which is basically, it's basically like almost a 7th link. It's like an added damage. It gives us like about 15% increased damage. So that kind of makes up the fact that we go Deadeye. And it gives us a lot of dodge, evasion, and it helps to build a lot in terms of everything, damage and defense potential, and of course life. So as you guys can see here, if I take my Hyri's Ire off, I lost 2,000 energy shield. So it is good for the build as a Trickster. And sure, you can be a Deadeye and slap in a freaking Harry Zyre and be like, yo, I'm doing way more damage than you, but good luck. Like, you're fucking dead. And if you're dead, you have no DPS, bro. So I wanted to give you guys a better defensive option, and you can take this build to the end of the day. I'll show you how, and just absolutely wreck the game. But with this, right, the key note that I wanted to notice was that Void Fletcher has 100, what is it, like 80 to 120 energy shield. That's pretty much showing that they want you to go freaking CI. Like, it's a C, it gives you evasion, it gives you not evasion, it gives you you know, like projectile speed, it gives you the void charge, it gives you added cold damage, which is good for the ice shot build, and it gives you a little bit of cold res with energy shield. So it works for the build. We lose about, what is it, 400 energy shield by taking off that quiver. So it is a damage and defensive option for the build as well. So it makes even more sense to go CI. On top of that, the main weaknesses of going CI are you cannot be stunned. I mean, you're stunned super easily because it's based off your life, and we have one life. We get stunned like this. You're frozen easily, for the same reason, is based off your life. But if you go, if you go Trickster, you cannot be stunned while you have ghost routes, and we have 3 ghost routes. So that helps it a lot. And when we get hit and we lose a ghost shroud, what is it? We lose. We gain energy. We recover energy shield equal to 4% of our evasion. My evasion right now is 33, only because we have Wind Dancer. I'll go into that in a little bit, which lowers our evasion by 40% less. It's usually around 10k. But when we get hit, it's about 14k or 13k around there. So we recover about, like, if we do the math real quick, I'm not gonna go into my head because I don't want to do it. Let's say that we have 13,000 evasion. Once we get hit with Wind Dancer, 0.04. That's 500 around energy shield that we recover instantaneously. So not only are we stun immune, we get hit and we recover HP, making us very defensive. On top of that, the only downside to that note is that if we get hit a lot, let's say you get hit with a lot of arrows with additional projectiles, you do get permalock because it's per hit. So if we get hit 3 times, it instantly goes away. The way to counteract that very easily is with the Pantheon. You go Soul Brine King and you can be stunned if you've been stunned before. So let's say you get hit multiple times, you recover all your HP from Ghost Shrouds. But this allows you to walk away and not get perma-stunned and then recover your Ghost Shrouds again. Those two in combination are perfect enough to be basically your stun immune at that point, which is very, very nice. So I covered that covered the stun immunity. The other one was the freeze immunity, and it's very easy. I'm chill here, like, I'm chill effect. Just pop a flask and I'm now not frozen anymore. So just watch your flask management and that's it. So that takes care of the 2 weaknesses, right? And then that pretty much covers it, where you just want a lot of ES gear to make up for it. And now look at that, and I have 6,000. This is with, like, I had some other helmet there that was higher than this, and I was like 6,200, and this is like getting very little invested in CI in what do you call it, in energy shield in the tree, because there's too much damage, dude. There's just too much damage. It hurt, bro. Like, I had to drop this crit multi to get Wind Dancer because it was too good not to use. Now, what makes Wind Dancer so freaking cool was that we have 40% less evasion, so we go down to about 33% dodge. Evade chance. With when we get hit, we take 20% less damage, and since we're CI, we are more likely to tank the damage since we have more HP to do it. Because the one downside of being an energy shield character is that you have no evasion. You have no armor, no evasion. So because we have no armor, no evasion, we have to have a large life pool to tank things. Well, if you go see Trickster, now we have best of both worlds. We have a decent amount of life pool. Yes, it's not like 7,000-8,000, but considering we are, a ranger, this is pretty good. 6,100, and that's what I was aiming for. You can definitely go higher if you invest into more, more money. 6,100 energy shield, right? We have now dodge, and now we take 20% less damage, and that actually applies to damage over time as well. So if we were evading and we're in a pool of damage over time, let's say from Shaper, Balls, or something like that, we do take 20% less damage. So not only are we more likely to take a hit and survive, we also have 20% more evasion rating. So the minute that we get hit, now we have over 50% chance to evade, on top of the blind and the dodge chance and everything. Very, very nice node. I highly recommend it. I did drop damage for it, but it was worthwhile in the end. And you can always make up for the damage with gear. So yeah, so the other problem was, do we have enough damage to, kill? You guys saw I fixed that. Do we have enough damage to make up for Deadeye? Well, here you go. If you look at Deadeye, I'll compare it for you guys. The only thing that really matters for a Deadeye is that you get Tailwind, right? And that you get the additional arrow. Far Shot doesn't mean shit because, you'd be using point blank. Ricochet is quite nice, but we can just pop a chain in our 5-link, like our chain for clear, and a weapon swap. I have a Depth's Opus. This is super cheap. A chain and, right? and this allows me to drop GMP because the bow has additional arrows, which is quite nice, making the bow kind of like a pseudo 6-link. If you do 6-link it, you could add extra damage, like add a cold, which is quite nice. I'm just using a 5-link for clear for now. But yeah, so it's just the additional arrow. But for argument's sake, if you go Deadeye, you probably don't want to use High Exile unless you don't care about dying a lot, in terms of a reasonable build. So it gives you about 12% DPS, which is roughly what a High Exile does for me. It gives me about, not even 21% damage. You know, it gives me about 1,000,000 DPS. So you can say by going Trickster and going High Exile makes up for that node. Ricochet is quite nice because if you only have one boss, 10% more damage. I'll give you that one. Tailwind you can easily just get from a pair of boots, and sure, it's not 100% effective Tailwind, but the only damage bonus we get from Tailwind is attack speed. And if you look at Trickster, you get, what is it? You get, is it this node? 6% attack and cast speed per ghost shroud with 3 ghost shrouds at 18% cast speed, attack speed, I mean. And then Weave the Arcane, you're like, why the fuck do I have this? If you read, 20% increased attack and cast speed if you use the movement skill recently. So once I have this, my attack, well, let me not dash into ice. My attack speed is now 0.35 instead of 0.39. With Chinso, 0.41. Now it's 0.37. So look at that. Like, our attack speed is literally insane. Not including Onslaught and, you know, not including Onslaught, and of course we have some Abyssal Jewels that give us attack speed on crit. Not including any of that, right? So that more than makes up the attack speed that we lost. Go ahead. Right? And then the last thing is we do get Harness of the Void. Harness of the Void is very weird in that it's gambly damage, right? Where you just have a chance to deal with more damage. And you might think it's spiky, but at the end of the day, it's not, because it's, the chances are so, like, it's so probable at the end of the day that it happens, how do you say, consistently all the time. So it just feels like, you know, like, it just feels like a 10% bonus, which I guess that kind of goes in turn with you know, that Ricochet, right? So damage is very comparable at the end of the day. So the only thing that we really lose was the additional arrow that we have to worry about. And you can easily make up with that by just investing more money. So I just have, the only additional arrows I have in this build, guys, is a Dying Sun. That is literally it. I'm not using a Depth's Heart. A Depth's Hope is for clear. Right? Let me take away my eyes golem annoying. I'm using a Chin Soul for single target, which has no additional arrows. Because the 50% more damage of arrow hits does affect Void Fletcher because you shoot an arrow. And that is more damage than an additional arrow, because an additional arrow is additive at the end of the equation, while 50% more damage is in between the equation, you know, multiplicative in between the equation, times then the damage taken, times the curses and the resist bullshit and all that crap. So it ends up being more damage. But needless to say, if you want more money, if you want to invest more, I don't have a Watcher's Eye with crit, right? Like, I'm still using this stupid Conqueror's Efficiency jewel that you get from leveling because I don't have a level 4 Enlighten. It's more damage there. What do you call it? My gems are only level 20. Like, my ice shot's only level 20. The added level does give you a good enough damage, right? I'm using a Chin Soul, for God's sakes, which costs 2 Exalt 6-link, not even probably cheaper now. You can just freaking buy a good, or craft one, a good bow with, you know, like, to out DPS a Chin Soul, you just got like a 400 PDPS bow with 2 additional arrows and you're golden. And that does more damage because that, not only is your barrage doing a reasonable amount of damage, you can your Void Shot gets additional arrows, which is way more damage. On top of that, you lose the knockback, which means you can drop off King of the Hill if you have a better crit chance than a Chin Soul if you craft crit on it. You can drop off King of the Hill and you don't have to worry about a knockback anymore. But this is the budget version, of course. I want to show you what the budget version is capable of doing. At the end of the day, this is the build, you know? We have so much defenses between our recovery from here, you know? With the Arcane gives you 6% reduced damage taken. We can't be stunned. We're basically stun immune. You know, we have so much evasion in terms of everything. The only, at the end of the day, let's see, like, let me show you, let me get hit real quick. Right, now I have, yeah, 50% chance to dodge. We blind with this node over here, and of course, with a Pandemonious. Right, our clear is still insane. I don't know why I rolled beyond on his map. Our clear is still insane, but you know, this is, in my opinion, a better version of the Ice Shot because it is way tankier. The only real downside is that we can't pick up a phase acrobatics because we have to go through acrobatics, which lowers our energy shield. So that's the only downside, but we do have Vault Grace, right? And with Vault Grace, my dodge goes from 10-20 to 50% dodge attacks to 6% dodge spells. Great, that's all I need, you know? So you can just pop it and you're good to go. You can even put increased duration if you want. And And you can still pick it up technically if you drop Lionized Fall here and put a, what do you call it, a small, what do you call it, let me show you guys real quick. Is this one, right? If you put a Thread of Hope, you can actually reach it, but you do lose all this damage over here. And it's fine, you can make up for it. Like, I still hit 3 million. But, you know, it's still less damage, and that's one of the, like, main points I was trying to fix. Oh, going Trickster. But yeah, Phase Acro. So you guys saw, we're using a Chinso, we're a Trickster, and yet that was our DPS, that was our clear. And I'll show you guys real quick. It's still insane, right? The only thing is that I do recommend going a weapon swap with a Death's Opus, because a Chinso requires you, like, I used to have it in my body, you know, I used 5 links, but that required me to use Chinso for clear, and it has no additional arrows. So my 5-link DPS had less multi from chain and less multi from GMP, which means it was a 5-link with 2 less multipliers. My clear felt like shit. So I wanted to swap to a Death's Opus, which has additional arrows, so I can drop GMP, which is the biggest less multiplier, and add a more multiplier like damage on full life or energy shield leech. But yeah, we also have energy shield leech, by the way, on our gems, which means that's pure life leech with Ghost Reaver. We have so much life leech, it's like stupid as hell, we don't die. But it's great, man. This build has been fantastic, dude. I've been loving it. I've been bursting through maps like crazy, making mad money. DPS is great. It's not amazing, but it's more than enough to kill the game. Build guide is coming soon, as you guys saw. But that is pretty much why I made Trickster. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll leave my current POB down below. It's around 4 million DPS with my current gear. If you guys look at my gear, yes, it is quite a bit of damage. You can get an Eye Shot Hubris Circlet for like 10C, eye level 85. Ideally I went for an eye level 85 Redeemer because I wanted to try to get the -9. Some guy saw my build and made it in like an hour. I kid you not, like the perfect chest thing. I got this helmet yesterday and crafted it in like 10 minutes. I just did reforge with defense modifiers, and I got this thing, and then I added some resistance to it, and that was it. And then it had room for an augment, so I just did remove a non-defense item and add a defense mod, and I got lucky and I got my hybrid. And that was it. 300 energy shield, just like that, guys. It's so easy to craft. Just look out for a helmet. You just want a percent ES and flat. You know, those are your 2 mods. Or if you get percent ES and hybrid ES, you can craft your own flat, and then just add the resistances using all the mods. You know, because if you do add remove lightning, that lightning then becomes a modifier, so you don't have to like craft it, and then you have room to craft flat energy shield. It's so easy. You know, these tailwind boots, they look amazing. I just finished crafting them like this. It took 2 seconds because tailwind is the only crit modifier. If you know, add remove crit mods or you aug crit, the only thing you can get is tailwind. It's that easy, you know. So I just reforge defense and you get something decent, and then aug crit, and then I just grab movement speed. So, and on top of that, ES gear is super cheap. Let me show you guys something. I know the video's getting a little long, so I don't want to wait for you guys. I was using these 2 things. This boots and this helmet. Let me move away from the portal because it's very annoying. This helmet I was using for the longest time, and I crafted it myself, so I didn't pay anything for it. And these boots, I got it from my Wintertide character, and I've only paid like 30 chaos for it. It's 171 boots with intelligence for more energy shield, a little bit of res on it, 30% movement speed. Something like this will usually cost like a few exalts, but this league 30C. So ES gear is cheap right now, guys. So take advantage of it. And everything else, the only thing that's expensive is Pandemonious, and Voice Fletcher went down in price. 6-link Chinso is cheap as fuck. Otherwise, the only thing that's very expensive would be this jewel over here. Storm Rider and Cold Conduction. This allows you to get shocks when you hit somebody, and Storm Rider then gives you power charges. So I have permanent uptime and power charges. That's my only cluster, by the way, so there's no cluster jewels on this tree either. This cost me around 2 exalts because these are 2 rare mods that you have to regal. I couldn't do it. I spent like probably an exalt and a half to craft it. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I just flat out bought it once I had the money. But it's definitely not required. You can just stick with Cold Conduction and drop the power charges until you can buy it. But I was just running with Cold Conduction on a blue jewel, and that's it. And then, you know, the small jewel is just another energy from that, which is very cheap. That's it. So with that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my like decision making and what your thoughts on the character are. The build guide's coming soon. But I'll leave that for the outro, actually. So we'll go into the outro. Thank you guys for watching, and catch you guys there. With that, guys, that pretty much wraps up the little discussion on my reasoning behind going Trickster as a Ice Shot character. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. Maybe learned something. Very nice. Like, subscribe, do what you guys want to do. But at the end of the day, this build has been fantastic. It's cleared everything in the game. I know that you don't because you haven't seen it yet, but it'll be in the build guide so you guys can see it. A lot of the bosses were like, Conquerors are still a joke, obviously. Map bosses are still, you know, the more you invest, the better it'll do for you, because the DPS is very easy to get, but defenses are not. Trickster gives you that defense, and CI does too. And you can definitely, you know, scrap up way more DPS if you invest more into the build and, you know, decide not to use a Jinsoul, things like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the build guide later on this week. And if you have any discussion or any type of improvements you think I can make to the build, please let me know. I'm always interested in things like that. Do a discussion, my thing, bro. So with that, guys, I'll catch you in the build guide. Hope you guys enjoyed what you saw, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.